Oh, there we go. It's recording. Yay.
Okay.
Okay, perfect. Okay. So anyone else want to go talking about value of partnerships or importance of partnerships in their daily life? Don't be shy. Kate, I know you have something to say about this.
Of course I do. I'm never at a loss for words when it comes to my partnerships. I mean, I am an ISV, and so my business comes from my partner network. It's where I spend all of my time is in my partner network. So that's where I'm generating business, but that's only one part of it. The other part of it is the camaraderie. It's the learning together. It is, and I have partnerships that are ISV partners. I have partners that are VAR partners, and they are all so important to me because I can call any of my partners at any point and talk through challenges I'm having. I mean, if we're going to ding a bell every time we say AI, here we go, ding ding. The innovations and changes around AI, it's really difficult for me to keep up with everything that's going on. So I can have calls on that, for example, I mean, I always want to know what my partner's pain points are. I'm not calling my partners and just saying sell, sell, sell for me. I want to know what their pain points are and how I can help them. So this is an open channel of sharing information, of sharing learning. I think that we are better when we're together. We can serve our end users when we're serving together, when we're coming together, when we're sharing knowledge, when we're sharing struggles and solutions. So this channel that I stepped into just over 3 years ago is unlike any other in the way of trust, camaraderie, true friendships. Some of the best friends that I have come from this channel. So it extends beyond just the 9 to 5 business that I'm doing. It is true partnerships and in life partnerships. So that's a little bit of my experience with it. I always have things to say about this one. Love it.
It's really good. Brad, you always have something to say about something, so I'm ready for you to give your input.
Well, it's tough to follow both you and Kate with your story of the partnerships, but I think a lot of things that you resonate true. A lot of things that you had both said resonate rather true because in the world, in the dynamic world that we have, it's very difficult to do anything alone. Even more so with implementing ERP software or even running an organization or a business. There's a lot of information, a lot of things going on, and having partners to help you share information, help you complete tasks. We can't do everything alone. You need to rely on others to be able to assist you and move forward. So I think the partner network is extremely important to be able to assist each other in becoming and moving forward. And it's what I find, thankfully, even in this channel, I haven't worked with it. I won't even say for how long. It hasn't been 3 years, Kate, for me. I think, I don't know. A lot of people were quite young when I started. Everybody seems to be working together because I think rising tides raise all ships. So having successful businesses, successful implementations gives everyone else the opportunity to become successful. So you may have some competitors, if you call them competitors or competing organizations, look at even in the community, even with a lot of people that you want to say that you become friends with, or a lot of people that you work with, they are competing partners, for example. They are your competition. They are both looking to have implementations or for what we do for business, if there's another business type of organization. But you can learn from each other and you can work together so that everyone's successful. It's a rather large planet. I don't think people realize it. There's about over 9 billion people. And it's impossible for one person to serve all of those people or all those organizations, so you can work well together. So to me, the partners is important for helping everybody move forward. Very small speech.
Really good. Yeah. And I think at the end of the day, I think commonality of what all three of us said is it's about the end user at the end of the day.
Mhm.
We're all here to benefit the end user, right? We should clients first. I know that's the name of a business, but when it when it comes to how we run our practice, personally, it is clients first, right? Our clients are our main priority. So wherever we have to get our knowledge, wherever we have to bring in services, we're doing that on behalf of the client. And we can't just think about, oh, well, we're not going to change our way of doing things because, and then the client loses at the end of the day when we have that mentality. So I think knowledge share, especially in this community, has just become critical. And that's something AI can't replace. I'll be honest with you. The value of the community and the partnership in this particular, and I've heard people say it. I think Danielle, she was on your podcast, Kate. I was listening to that one on the way here.
Yeah.
She said something really good. She's been in other channels, and she came into this Microsoft channel, and she was like, there is no community or no sense of community like the Microsoft community. And so we shouldn't take that for granted. We should try to leverage that, right? Because we do have this community, and we're very fortunate to have that. And I don't think that's anything that Microsoft necessarily does, but things like IMCP, things like Vibe, things like these organizations that are driving partners to connect together, that's where we start to win, right? It's not just attending Microsoft events. So yeah, I think that's a great starting point, conversation starter for what Molly and Liz saw. And Molly and Liz, before you do your presentation, can you give us a little bit of background of how you thought about Partner In and Vibe? I know you came from an end user conference where you were serving both end users and partners and sponsors and all of that. And then you just went partner focused. So what kind of drove that? What were you seeing that you felt like that was a need that the community had? And kind of tell us how that got inspired.
When you're done with that question, which is such a great question, I'm going to give a quick intro of both of you and what you are doing in the space that's so different than anybody else, for the people on the call that might not know you. So go ahead, take it away with your answer.
Go for it, Liz. Perfect. Yeah, excellent question, Shannon. So as you said, we had been focused on the customer user base before, previously of starting Partner In. And we really kind of identified, as Microsoft is moving towards this one Microsoft vision and their co-sell motions and the partner to partner selling, we just really felt like there was a bit of a gap. There's a lot of really great partner resources out there today for education, but there isn't a lot of places where you can go and get learning and education and networking opportunities between partners, specifically in the Microsoft space. IAMCP definitely is one of those organizations, but that's very much on a local level. And a little bit outside of that. And so Molly and I really kind of saw this gap and felt that the partners needed a little bit more support and opportunities for collaborating with other partners across the Microsoft technology stack and across different partner types too. So Kate, I don't know what your differentiation introduction sounds like, so I don't want to go too much further because I might
No.
answer that question. So I will let you do your intro and we can fill in gaps from there.
Yeah. So I just want to I guess I'll try and stay high level because I have a very special place in my heart and my support for what Liz and Molly are doing. Not only did they see a gap for this type of education, but they identified a gap in the way that we are learning and created Partner In, created Vibe in response, in direct answer to that. If you attend industry conferences, which I do, I attend almost all of them. It is the same format, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. And what I loved so much about Vibe when I attended in January was that they took that format and said, yeah, we're not doing it that way. So the content and the way that it was presented was much more community driven. It was not necessarily one person standing with a presentation, with with a slide deck, with a set of notes. It was an open roundtable discussion in every one of the sessions that I attended. And what happens with education like that is that it has legs to walk and run immediately. You're not saying when you get back to your office, do these three things. You're saying right now, let's make a change, let's move the needle, and let's do it together. And it was so compelling and transformative. And I would love to see more of this style education. It hits all of our learning styles. It resonates with everyone that's there. So if you are on the fence about whether or not to join Molly and Liz in September, yes, September, for Vibe 2.0, here's your sign. Here's your sign to jump in and get involved with what they're doing, because it is truly innovative. It is groundbreaking in the way that we receive information, we synthesize that information, and we put it into practice.
Excellently said, Kate. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I think one of our other differentiators is the fact that we are focused on those different partner types. So ISVs, VARs, MCPs, SIs, like all of the different types. And although the background and where Molly and I came from was specifically in business applications, Dynamics and Power Platform, we also saw this gap between partners who focused on business applications and partners who were focused on Azure and security and AI, kind of what Shannon was saying earlier, like you're not going to be an expert in all the things, nor should we be. That stretches all of us too thin. So let's build those strategic partnerships and relationships with other organizations that have a big team that can focus on different things that your team might lack.
Love it. Well, with that, if you're good with it, Kate, Shannon, and Brad, we'll just roll into our presentation, but it's a pretty lax presentation because, as Kate just defined, we don't usually do things very standardized anyway. We think it's boring. So we have some slides. They're not overly impressive because we want to hear more from all of you. So this is what we would call a discussion presentation, if you will. And we would encourage all of you to get involved, chime in at any time. The best thing we can all get out of this time together today on a Friday afternoon, or it's afternoon for you guys, is to just be collaborative and just hear what people have done and what worked well and what didn't. So that is why we're here. So it is called The Importance of Partnerships. And honestly, the building blocks of partnerships are communicating and building relationships like we are doing today together. So with that, Liz will do a quick intro slide of who we are, but hopefully most of you know who we are already. And if not, it's great to meet you.
Yeah, I don't know that we need a huge intro because Shannon and Kate have done such a great job.
Yes, they have.
But huge shout out to Kate and Shannon for inviting myself, which is Liz Hallen, if you couldn't tell, in the different hair colors of the people on the screen. So very excited to be here.
I have a different hair length. I mean, all the things. That's me though.
Yeah, so thank you so much for having us on and being able to share our story and the importance of partnerships, because we definitely believe in that very, very strongly, or we wouldn't have started Partner In and the Vibe Conference. Molly, anything to add?
No, great to be here, you guys. Thanks for having us, and excited to just chat with you guys for the next few minutes or so. Well, probably more than a few, but we'll make it short and sweet. We also believe in short and sweet and to the point. So partnerships. Obviously, no one grows alone. That is the opposite of a partnership. So we've got, again, some just some foundational slides, but we'll just do more of talking and welcome all of you just to chime in, give your perspective, give your 2 cents, and please share any experiences that you have, good, bad, neutral, or that you wish you would have done differently. I think that's what we all have had in our history. I think no one grows alone. When I think about this, it's things that I still teach my godchildren who are under 10, all under 10. I think we have 13 godchildren, most under 10 years old. And when they get a little selfish with things, I say, you know, it would be so much cooler if you did this with your sibling or your friend, because think of how much more you could accomplish. So it's such a small thing, but we've learned it since we were little, playing on the playground, about how much more creativity comes when we work together. So we're going to share just some things about how this helps your business scale today as you're adulting, and just how it helps you as a teammate, how it helps you grow as an organization, and just why partnerships matter. So the collaboration that can be built. Kate did such a beautiful job, as did Brad and Shannon, talking about how working with others across the community makes such a difference for your business. And as we also already heard, you shouldn't have to be an expert in anything. Instead, you should build a good relationship to somebody who is already an expert in that particular area, and either be able to work with them directly or recommend them to somebody who is in need of their services, because it will always come back to you. Usually tenfold, especially in this community, because it is so unique. And I think Kate is a great example of that as well, is just how unique this community is and how much you can leverage that for your own personal growth and for your team and your company. So this also then, of course, generates better customer outcomes for everyone, particularly you and your team. And then just building credibility on who you are in the community, what you do, what you focus on, what your priorities are, and just building that trust really ripples across. People really get to know who you are. And Liz and I, being a part of the community organizational space for Microsoft, have had a lot of experience working with how certain people feel about certain people. And it is very interesting to see how the trust balance shifts in the community, and how people are well known and what they're willing to do for one another. And when they can't, how they communicate that. So it's interesting that, just like when we're kids and we're learning if we want to do something by ourselves or together with our sibling or our friend, trust really gets rippled, and it really makes a big difference and impact on how people perceive you, perceive your company, consider working with you more or less, so on and so forth. Go ahead, Liz.
So some of the slides that we pulled together today, we did pull from some research reports that a few of our organizations in our space have put together. They spent a ton of time and months and months and months. They've done these research reports for a long time. So just going to randomly reference them throughout the presentation. The first one here is from the Partner Marketing Group. This is their annual technology marketing benchmark and trends report. And this came from the 2026 edition that was just released here not that long ago. But you can see here that in 2026, one of the trends, and this survey is taken by Microsoft partners, even partners that are outside of Microsoft, as well as some, and it's all partner types. So it's VARs, it's ISVs, it's SIs. But it's very interesting to see how much we are seeing an increase in percentage wise in terms of how partners are working with each other. The increase is there. The trend is there. There's a ton of referrals that are happening in this space now. So if you're not on this bandwagon, you need to get on this bandwagon because it is truly driving a ton of great business. And we'll talk a little bit more as we go through the presentation, but I thought this statistic was interesting about how almost 50% of partners in our space today are seeing and getting new leads from referrals, influencers, and working together with partners. Very similar stories to what Shannon had discussed at the beginning of the call.
Awesome. So competition versus collaboration. Small story to share. 3 years ago, I was at Directions North America, and I want to meet everybody, especially because at the time I was very much in the user space and really love to know and get to know new partners that I've never heard of, that are new to the space, that just, have something new to share, have something, they've created something completely different. They've created an add-on solution that there are some technically competing companies with. But there was a particular company that I had never heard of. And I said, oh my gosh, I'm so excited to meet them and get to know about them. What was so interesting to me was when I went up, I said, oh my gosh, I have never heard of you. And my name's Molly, and I worked with Dynamics User Group at the time. And I said, can you tell me about your business and particularly who your clients are and what products you serve? And the individual that was working the booth said, well, we don't share that information. I said, you don't share it. I'm just a little thrown off because we just don't operate as we move forward, especially when I think of even then, I guess 3 years ago, 2023, post-COVID, I think our ecosystem as a whole has changed so much in that way. So I said, oh, can I ask why you don't share it? I said, just to be clear, this is my position in the community, if that helps you feel more comfortable. And they said, no, our company stance is that we do not share any details with anyone, especially at a trade show. And I was thinking, oh, okay. And it's a partner show, just to be clear. And I said, well, what would make you feel more comfortable? And he said, I don't know. I don't really understand it myself. It's just the way we do it. And I thought, gosh, I wanted to give them like the biggest community hug at that moment. Like, oh my gosh, if I could teach you about community, but I didn't want to pounce on this person that I just met 7 seconds ago. So, but it's interesting because I would love to go back and ask that individual how the show benefited them. Did they feel like they got the most out of that, particularly in a partner only environment? And what they hope to do, especially if they do have a different lens on competition versus collaboration. So again, you can see some of the reasons on the screen here, how it can stifle some growth, of course, and just seeing how somebody else does it, frankly, really can benefit you, your team, and your business. So we're going to just open this up to all of you real quick with a question. How does, Liz, if you don't mind switching slides, just going to remember how I wrote it. How does your company, not you as an individual, but your company view collaboration versus competition? If anyone would be willing and comfortable to share.
I'll share an example of something that happened to me yesterday. I have an ISV payment solution in Business Central. It is has a very specific feature set that's a little bit different from the other AR solutions in Business Central. And one of, I'll call it, because it's kind of what people know, our direct competitors. I don't see ourselves as competition with anyone really, because we are the same but different. One of our direct competitors called me yesterday afternoon at about 4:30 and gave me an issue that they were having with an implementation, and said that it's come to their attention that they're no longer able to serve this end user, and they would like to send it off to someone that they knew that could. This is a direct competitor for us, right? This is a name that is, like in every payment showcase, we're put up right up next to them. But that is true collaboration. That is dispelling the myth that there's not enough business to go around. That is saying we want the best for the end user. We're not able to serve them, and we don't want to say we can't help you. Good luck. We want to put you in the hands of someone else. And so, now the journey has begun with this end user, but that is a great example of what I believe is, the more that you hold on and the tighter that you hold on, the less you receive. The more you let go, the more you're willing to serve, the more that you're willing to help others, the more that you get the floodgates open. So that is that is a hot off the press story of how collaboration works in this channel. And how we can work together. And that just came from those conversations where I approached them and I said, I would love to talk about areas where you shine. And if I have a customer that I can send to you, I want to send it to you. And they looked at me like I had two heads. They're like, you do realize we're competitive. I'm like, we are, but we aren't, and if I have someone I can pass off to you, I want to do that. So I feel like screaming that story from the rooftops right now, because that is what makes this ecosystem so special.
Love that. Thank you, Kate. That's a great story. Look at that. Just because you said hey, I want to get to know you. Yes, I understand we are direct competitors. I still want to get to know you and how we can help each other. That's fantastic.
I'd like
And I
to chime
love
in
that
here.
you're, oh, I'm sorry, David, go ahead.
Yeah, I'd like to chime in here as well.
Please
You know,
do.
we're new to the whole ISV, we're a managed partner, but from a collaboration standpoint, we work with our competitors.
Awesome.
Each of us, you know, there's different ways to skin the cat, and ours is we approach it one way, and yet somebody might have a need for we're in a healthcare space. Somebody might
Okay,
have a
sure.
need for a clinical trial that needs a different
Definitely.
type of technology, something that maybe we do that a competitor does better. Okay. So we'll
Sure.
often work with them. So collaboration is something that from a company standpoint is we're on board with it.
It's
I
wonderful to
love
hear.
that. That's fantastic.
It's not competition, it's co-opetition, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Great, 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 David. And I love that. And we can't emphasize this enough in this conversation. You don't have to be an expert in it all. Probably the new version of expert is knowing exactly who to send someone to really quickly, because they will remember that you helped them get there to that other partner who can do that other piece really well. They will not forget that happened, just like Kate's example too. They will not forget that Kate immediately will jump on it, and that customer will be so grateful to the person who sent them to Kate for doing that. That's fantastic. Anybody else want to chime in? Thanks, David. All right, keep going, Liz. Okay, so like we've said, and Brad, you brought this up, I believe, so many partners to go around. And also so many partners and even more work to go around. That sounds silly to say, but it's so true. There is more than enough work. Microsoft, especially for the partners right now, has so much work to do. There's so many new customers and clients coming into the space. There's more than enough to go around. If you just keep asking who's doing what well, you are going to get connected back on what your specialty is for your business. So get connected with those. Use those joint opportunities that whenever you can, especially even if they're new. And I think the biggest thing that partners, I would say historically, especially in Liz and I's earlier days in this space, is nobody wanted to go to another partner, especially a competing partner, and say, we don't do this very well. We do this other thing really well, but we don't do this very well. Can you show us how to get there, or can you help us get there? It's a very vulnerable place to start asking questions, and nobody wants to go to another partner and ask. But I think luckily we are continuing to put those barriers down as Microsoft shifts their whole model between different products and between so-called competitors. I think working with that same kind of strategy is only going to help us move further. So we just always like to use this fun little equation that we put at the bottom: less competition plus more collaboration equals fastest growth. So everybody stay with that mindset. Go ahead, Liz.
Yeah, and kind of going back to this referral thing. So the second report that we leveraged when we were doing research for our presentation today was from Maven Collective. They recently released their 2026 Microsoft Partner Global Benchmark and Success Index report. And I know there's a lot of words. There's a lot of words. And we have one more report that we're going to reference. But if anybody would like a copy of these reports, there's so much data and so much information. It's not just about the relationships and partnerships. There's a lot more data and a lot more information in all of these reports. We're happy to sell the link ourselves. We're happy to share. We're not selling you anything. We're happy to share the links with you so that you can download it and read all of it for you. But one of the pieces of data in the Maven collection report was where partners are getting their leads from now. And as you can see, partner referrals is number one, which totally blew me away, because I think when a lot of partners come into this space, or if you're an organization that was maybe focused on, SAP or, a different technology and you're adding on a Microsoft practice, for example, I feel like a lot of partners have this thought and this misconception that Microsoft's going to send them all of these leads. Like Microsoft has this huge engine of customers that come to them all the time and be like, hey, this partner go here and this customer goes to that partner. And while that does happen, you'll see here that Microsoft referrals is in the middle of this chart. And really what matters more is the partner to partner referrals, the word of mouth, and having that distinguishing uniqueness to your organization and really helping to build that trust. So I thought this was a very interesting statistic. Obviously, there's a ton of other lead sources. So marketing folks are going, oh my gosh, like our paid media stuff is not doing well. But really building those relationships is super important because it is where a lot of leads are coming today for partners in the Microsoft space.
Just a quick, Liz, if you don't mind going back there for just a second, just in case anyone was reading the details of this, is there anyone that wants to chime in and just to say there's anything that surprised you about this or didn't surprise you about this turnout of hundreds and hundreds of partners taking this survey?
Didn't surprise me to see that the Microsoft Marketplace was towards the bottom of the list.
Yeah.
We've been a member of the Marketplace for ages and have never gotten a lead from it. It's transactional. You could order it right from the Marketplace, but it's just never happened. So that's not a surprise to me.
One of the
not a surprise.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, David, because one of the things in this report also mentions that Marketplace is still important, but what they're finding, and I can't remember if it was the Maven report or one of the other ones, being present in the Marketplace is still very important because what customers are using Marketplace for is for validation. They're looking to make sure that this is a legitimate solution. It's Microsoft backed, but that's not the channel that they're going through to buy it. They're asking their partner, hey, we found this solution on Marketplace. Is it a good one? Do you know anything about it? Like, it seems to be pretty good, but would love to get your insight in on it. So
we had a designation that it was an approved healthcare application, and we thought that would get us a lot of credibility. And now, met with Will Krill at Microsoft at Ultimate Partners in Bellevue, and he was saying that we've just got to build give a reason, to get partners to refer us. And so I'm looking to get the gap that we're trying to close actually is how to get more awareness in the marketplace. And we're talking about doing free offers and things of that nature. But anyway, I just wanted to chime in that it wasn't a surprise.
Thank you. Yeah, great insight. Thank you for that. Prove the theory of the results. Hi, Richard. Great to see you, by the way. Thanks for joining. All right, we will scoot on. Okay, so again, partnerships, better customer outcomes. It allows you to, again, access just more of those specialties that, again, your company doesn't have. You have a different set of specialties. You have a different niche. This is all going to come full circle, recommending your services for specific niches and honing in and focusing in on those and letting other partners know what those are, but also how you can help them get their expertise out into the partner community, which then ultimately gets to the customer community. We're going to talk about conferences and community a little bit further here, but again, it's full circle. It just helps for faster resolution. Kate's example, again, just a little bit ago, exactly that. The customer was best served by a partner they were working with that couldn't quite do what they needed. They called Kate, Kate got on the ball, and they're on their way to getting what they need. And it did not take 1 month for their particular partner to feel boxed in, like they had to figure it out. And they had to know the answers and to try and fast learn it themselves. And that just gets to be so messy. And all the while the customer's waiting, day by day, week by week for those different results, but really just knocking on the door, calling Kate, calling somebody you know, and having that relationship will better serve the customer. And what we've seen, what Liz and I have done both on the user side and now specifically on the partner community side is, again, the customer just wants to be served quickly. They're not going to leave you. They're going to remember how fast you serve them. So just keeping that in mind, they're going to stick with you, and it just provides better results for everybody, frankly. Then we've just got a nice little quote at the bottom too from the partner marketing group, which we thought was very interesting from their survey, as we kind of start to talk about AI and just not forgetting those personal relationships with Shannon. Thank you very much for chiming in earlier on as well. Okay, next.
All right. So the last survey report that I was digging around and doing some research to share with you all today was from MS Dynamics World. Obviously been in the Microsoft space for a really long time. If you haven't been in the Dynamics or the business application space, it's a great resource for you. But this comes from their 2025 Partner Marketing Insights Report. And you can see here how that relationship from the customer viewpoint matters so much because they already have a trusted relationship with their partner. And so it's good for customers to see if partners have good relationships with the ISV solutions that they're bringing in. And they want to see that collaboration and that trust between those two, because if they don't, they're kind of like, well, who are these people and why are you recommending them? Like, you don't even seem like you know them. Do you trust them? Do you know what they do? So from a customer perspective, it's really, really important for partners to build these relationships with ISVs, because it, again, just makes that relationship be stronger and show the value to the customer itself.
Love it.
All right.
Okay, so continuously learning as an individual, as a team, and as your organization. So the biggest thing we can't emphasize enough is getting to know partners that are not just and only in the particular products that your company serves today. As we know, partner organizations change a lot, and maybe you are very much in all the conversations of your leadership or owners or all teams where you know where your business is going and exactly what the plan is in 1 year, 3 years, 5 years. But if you don't, especially, or if things change, because heaven forbid, sometimes they do, you're likely going to take on additional products as your business continues to grow and as we see the shift with the Microsoft ecosystem as a whole and combining those products. Now, combining is a strong word, but you know what I mean. They want these products to be more collaborative together, to be working together more and more every day for the customer, which means, again, we need to be looking at how to work with other partners outside of what we do every day. We talked about this already, asking questions. Please don't be afraid to ask questions. I understand I'm coming from a community lens where we always encourage questions, but really asking the questions that you don't know, maybe it's to somebody that you trust more as a partner in the space, but just asking the questions. It's the first best step. We have a few examples of where to get different resources in this deck today, but the best answers you're frankly going to get are from fellow partners. It's those peers in the partner community that are going to say, this is where I learned this. This is the best place to go. It's either going to be a third-party group who specializes in partner education. It's going to be Microsoft proper. It's going to be community-led groups and things like that we'll talk about. But it's good to just hear, where are you best getting this and where are you finding those different partners to connect with? So just ask the questions and don't be afraid, especially to ask questions about products. I know that used to be such a no-no. You had to come to conferences like you knew everything. And Liz and I remember a time way back when in conference land, especially for user events, where you couldn't even go to a session to learn yourself as a partner because it might give the appearance that you don't know everything. I hope that wall is falling down, particularly, obviously, what Liz and I do. There are not those walls that exist. At least we really try to break them down really fast for people if they do exist. But we also have seen a nice shift in even user community events and things like that, virtual, in person, and otherwise, where people are just showing up because they're supporting the community and they're saying, hey, I don't know everything about this and I'm here to learn just like you. So the more humanistic approach is good. And I think it's also extra appreciated as AI continues to be such a big part of our world. And then just understanding that you can adopt other people's practices into your own. That's a very basic business logic, but just a good reminder. And a lot of good reminders are here today in these slides, of course, but it's just good for you to take a minute to remember that you can adopt somebody else's process, make it your own that best fits your team or your org. And then again, you're just going to better serve the customer. So find out who's doing it well. Again, get out there. It does take a little bit of research. It might be your direct competitor. It might be somebody who's more indirect, right? They might be not serving the same product line, not doing the same exact niche thing, well, probably not the same niche thing, but they might be just doing something totally different, but you've seen and heard their success rate is a fast turnaround and things like that with their customers. Get to know them, find them at an event, go to a virtual meetup, find them at an IAMCP meeting, find them somewhere, get to know them. And LinkedIn messaging, for example, it's great. Emailing, great. In its proper place. You're only going to get so far with things like that. It's when we do things like we're doing right here today, where we get to talk to each other directly, have some dedicated time that make a difference. Okay, Liz?
I think another thing, find out who's doing it well, but also ask them, what did they learn from when it wasn't going well? It's learning about when they fell. Let's also share those stories about when we fumbled and we had to start and restart and start again, because the first 10 times didn't work the way we had thought. And so people that are doing it well, pretty sure 99% of the time, those people did not do it well right out of the gate. So learn from their mistakes and as a way that your organization doesn't repeat them, for sure.
So we just talked a lot about learning beyond your organization, so I'll let you just peek at those pieces again. But for partner education, we did put some specifics here from Microsoft and otherwise, just to kind of break it down. I think most of you know this or have a general idea, but you can see from Microsoft Learn, Microsoft certifications, kind of what those equate to really and what you're looking for. And then the partner center note at the bottom, just keep in mind what that is. It's kind of an organizational thread of a lot of this from the Microsoft world. They're fully dedicated, built out websites, so they can get a little confusing. If you would like more information, please reach out to Liz and I, and we will be sure to fully equip you with all that we know, but we just wanted to touch on that. But there are so many external resources, blogs, articles, podcasts. We forgot to put podcasts on here, Brad and Kate and Shannon, sorry. Podcast is such a big thing too these days, where you can really just listen or watch and listen to what people are saying and how they're shifting their business. And I would say the podcasts that the three of you have been involved with in particular tend to have really humbled guests. To Liz's previous point, they talk about, yeah, we almost lost our business because we thought this was the winning star, the gold ticket, and then it completely failed. We lost a crap ton of money, and then we tried it again 4 more times and finally got it. So always appreciate the humbledness of people on podcasts too. I think you get a different element of them. YouTube has always been a classic, of course. And then the industry reports, like the surveys that we shared today, we shared 1 or 2 different graphs and things like that. But these survey reports, again, they collected months and months of data from partners in all different products, all different product representations, all different partner types. Those are really interesting. They're all 50+ pages long. We highly suggest looking at them. If anyone wants any access to those, we'll happily send you the link to get those as well. Liz, anything I'm missing there on the partner education that you can think of?
I think so. Nope.
Okay.
Nope. And I feel like we're just beating this drum and this on this and just like relationships definitely drive revenue. And that's just pretty much what this whole presentation and discussion comes down to today is you have to have those trusts. The referrals are going to get you those relationships. They're going to get you those leads. They're going to open doors for you because at the end of the day, people buy from other people buy from people that say, yeah, that was a good idea. I mean, not only in the business world, but even in the personal world, right? Like there's been so many times where I've wanted XYZ. I don't know how many times I have seen on my Facebook feed, oh, we're looking for a new bed. What do you guys recommend? Like, because there's so many options and buying a bed is hard. It's like buying a piece of ERP software. Like they all say they can do the same thing, but is this one actually going to help me? Um, that's it, but it's so true. And then you have all of these people that say, "Oh my gosh, we love ours, and this is so great, and you need to check this one out, and make sure you're asking this question." And so people are buying from other people based on their recommendation and their referral. Um, and so again, within this world of AI that we are now in, and it's just going to keep going and going and going, there's definitely a place for that, and it's a helpful thing. But people are going to buy from a real human and having that trusted connection and that trusted relationship that if I was shopping for a mattress, which I'm not right now, I'm not even sure where that example came from, but I'm going to go into the store and talk to the salesperson, and they're going to try and sell me the expensive one, probably because they're going to make a bigger commission on that. But at the end of the day, I'm going to buy what my friend told me worked best for them because I trust them and I trust their opinion. I don't trust the sales guy in the room. In the partner marketing group survey, one of the questions that they asked was, and again, this is of all Microsoft partners and even some outside of the Microsoft space, wondered how many of the companies today actually have a referral program. So many organizations are building a referral program. Over 60% of them are today. So if you're one of the companies that does not have a referral program, highly recommend doing that and make sure that you're building programs for both your partner connections and your partner programs and relationships, as well as your customers, because your customers are also great referrals, particularly if they're going to a user-led conference like Community Summit or Dynamics Con or any of the others. They're there meeting with other companies that are like them in the same industry and asking questions like, well, who is your partner? Or how does this ISV solution work for you? So if you can get a referral from that customer of yours, that's a great place to do it as well. The other thing that I found very interesting, though, in the MSDW survey is there is still a disconnect with our referral businesses. So ISVs are very likely to share, if they have a referral. So Kate, yours was an ISV to ISV, which I think is really amazing and phenomenal. But what VARs are saying is that we hardly ever get referrals from our ISVs. And I always wonder, I was wondering, like, why is this? Like, if referrals is so big and ISVs are willing to share, why are they not sharing with the VARs? So I am curious if anybody's come across this situation or has any insight into why does this disconnect exist, or if you've seen this disconnect and how we might be able to overcome something. Anyone have any ideas?
I don't
I'll just
know if the
share.
disconnect is
Go ahead.
universal because,
Okay.
and I don't know if it's maybe the times where I think there's been a bigger shift for everybody working together, but I have talked with some
Sure.
ISVs that have referred customers to partners
We have.
because I think everybody comes across businesses or organizations that have challenges that need to be solved. And again, through the relationships that you have with different organizations, we've had some calls where someone was talking with an ISV or working with an ISV solution that suggested or offered help. I think what also has changed recently, I don't want to say recently, again, it's dated, is I think the dynamic has changed. Before, it used to be the partners would recommend the ISVs.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mhm.
now a lot of users of the Business Central application, because that's the space that I work in,
Mm-hmm.
are finding the ISVs on their own, right? So that information is more readily available. So I think the users are reaching out to the ISVs directly in a lot of cases, whereas before they would work directly with their own partner. And also in many cases, and again, nothing's universal. I see a lot of partners working together for implementations as well. Whereas some partners may be better equipped to handle certain parts of an implementation, and maybe other parts of an implementation somebody could help them out with. So it's all comes to with working together, because again, it's with the breadth of the application and how you can connect all the pieces to it, because it's no longer just within the Business Central application. Having some of those people or other organizations to rely upon is helpful. So I think there's a change, is the short, long-winded answer that I'm giving, because of the avenue where users of any product are able to find partners, ISVs, or anyone.
Good insight. Thank you, Brad.
Were you going to say something as well?
Yeah, sure. When I look at our leads, your slide on where your lead sourcing was fascinating to me. I haven't seen that report. The majority of our leads, I would say, I don't have to guess. I know about 70% of our leads come from our partner channel. The other 30 are coming to us direct. So they're coming to us through website, through, hallway conversations, through other ISVs, right? One of the first questions we always ask if someone comes to us direct is, who are you working with? Who's your partner?
Mhm.
And the most of the time they have a partner that they're already working with. If they don't, or if that relationship is not going well, then we do refer out to our trusted partners. We make that connection. We make that introduction. It is a two-way street. I'm just finding that the majority of partners are end users that are coming to us are already working with someone.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, this makes sense.
Yep. That totally makes
Thanks,
sense.
Kate.
Great analysis of why this disconnect exists.
Mhm. Okay, so a little bit of a shift. We've talked a lot about this already. Community creates momentum. I have a community question in a minute, but I just want to point out again, routine. I can't say that enough. Routine equals community building. Showing up to things like this very meeting, showing up to other meetups, showing up to things in person and virtually. Question for Kate and Brad. Do you guys have any plans to get your group actually together in person in the future, or is it too early to tell and it's better as virtual?
The IAMCP
Our
group?
Yes, I'm sorry. Yes.
Our chapter?
IAMCP Tennessee, Kentucky chapter.
It's a little too early to tell. We did our first meeting in person. We're finding, our first one in January was in person. We haven't had an in-person since then.
Okay.
I love in-person meetings. The virtual seems to be a little bit better for this chapter.
Sure.
But it's not off the table. Maybe a big holiday party or something fun.
Ooh, there you go. Cool.
Preview.
Okay, I'm just
Preview.
curious. Yeah, I love that. I love that. Yeah, and just again, the biggest thing you can do is just showing up and creating routine around it. The fact that people came today, just you created a routine for this meeting. That's fantastic. That's what you need. That's how you build relationships, and that's how you stay informed and you keep going with it. You keep growing with it. So can't stress that enough. Just to do that, show up, let people get to know you too. That's the biggest thing. Even if it's virtually, that's perfect too. Let people get to know who you are. Okay, Liz, go ahead. Okay, question for everybody, because we were kind of leaning into this. How involved are you today in the Microsoft community? And maybe just measure that by, are you in a lot of things, a few things, whatever you'd like to share.
I'm trying to give other people an opportunity to share, so I'm not talking all the time.
Maybe Richard. if you can hear us, do you want to share how you're involved in the Microsoft community and maybe some highlights? Because I see you in a lot of places, sir.
I appreciate that. Hello, everybody. My name is Richard Kranzer with the Kranzer Group. Really enjoy being here, listening to everybody. I'm a big fan of the partner in and what they're doing, right? Liz and Molly. So let's see a couple of things. How involved are we in the Microsoft community? We are, in case you don't know, we manage MSPs and ISVs around the ecosystem, around incentive designation, specialization, skilling, etc. And we really believe in just trying to help translate what is going on in Microsoft to different partners. We really believe in partners working together. We've talked to so many people at Microsoft, and they keep saying, partner can't do it all. You have to leverage partners that do other stuff better and grow that way. Especially with how ISVs are constructed. But that's really kind of what we do. We believe in, connecting partners together. We are constantly, with partners we work with, they ask us questions, we try and connect them with partners we're working with, etc. So, and it does take effort. We've been doing this for a couple of years, but routine, consistency. I have, every day I do LinkedIn outreach, X amount of partners. I try and do one IAMCP chapter meeting per region a month, depending on time and then travel and everything. So routine is helpful, and trying to be authentic and not be like an AI chatbot or something, right? And every one of my LinkedIn connections are AI. I try and be real. My emails are real. I don't have like campaigns or anything. So so really excited to be part of Microsoft.
And we're just getting involved in the Microsoft community. I'm trying to understand, and that's why I'm in this meeting here, just trying to understand how to get more involved
Sure.
in the community, as well as, building relationships with partners.
Great. Well, you are in the right place. That's for sure, David. And I will say too, if Liz and I can offer you more specifics beyond this call, and of course, Brad, Kate, and Shannon are a wealth of knowledge, and they know just the best people and the best places to go as well. So the leaders of this group, you're very fortunate to have a great group of leaders that, again, just think well beyond themselves and their own business and want to do what's most helpful for you. So as they're getting to know you as well, I'm sure they will have wonderful resources, but please reach out to Liz and I too if we can help you with that.
Okay, thanks.
You bet. You bet. Okay, Liz, keep going. Real quick, we'll just highlight community conferences. So again, this is the place where I'm going to look at Kate because I feel like I see her at every conference, followed by Shannon and then Brad. So that they get it though, right? They've drank the conference Kool-Aid, if I had to put it a certain way. And Richard, I'm just getting to know you a little bit better, but I feel like you are also in many of these places too. But this is really where you start to build those friendships of fellow partner community members. It just gives you more time away from home and all the responsibilities of home to connect with people during the day. If you participate in evening events or go out to dinner with a group of people and get to know them, it's funny how quickly you'll learn, oh, you know that person and I know that person, and oh, I went to this thing, and oh, I met them, and oh, I saw them on stage. I'd love to get them to know them. Oh, I'll introduce you. It's just funny how we're all actually very connected, and it happens very quickly. I think Kate probably could nod her head and say she made 100 new friends like in the first 2 conferences she went to, which wasn't that long ago in this space. So just a lot of other buzzwords on this screen, to be very honest, but it does just give you, yes, after hours networking is always a plus, or early morning walks and grabbing coffee and exercising or whatever is your flavor. All those things, there's always groups that are willing to do that and get together. So you will find your like-minded people, whether it's professionally driven or not. So yeah, it's a great place to just really find, like Shannon just said in the comments, like some authentically true best friends that you will continue to travel with at conferences, connect with, have texts with, share pictures with, and just really support, and they will support you back. So can't emphasize enough, conferences are just a great place to really have some dedicated time. This is wonderful too, but this is an hour, or I guess a little over an hour now. But conferences really give you that dedicated time. All right, Liz, go ahead.
Yes, and in case conferences and the fact that we're talking about conferences isn't enough, another statistic that I found in the partner marketing group benchmark report was that events tend to lead lead generation as well. I love this stat that 89% of marketing people said that they were maintaining or increasing their event spend because it is so truly important. Kate, obviously, UST Pay really gets this idea because it helps the lead generation. It might not be the direct leads, from a customer perspective if you're going to customer conferences, but again, it's the building of the partnerships and the referral network that you're building when you do go to these events. This is different because of the obvious things, right? Like you're doing digital marketing, but really digital marketing has a difficult time building that trust. I mean, you can't read everything on the internet that you find. I tell my kids that all the time, like, no. That is not a true thing just because you saw a TikTok video. That's not there.
Love that.
Because you do have an opportunity to have those meaningful conversations. And really, again, ultimately the whole point of this is to serve the customers better. And in Shannon's words, customers are always first. And it's like we're a client's first business. Not to steal the name of one of our wonderful partners in our space. So I guess we're just curious from each of you, how many conferences and events, and I think the question, Molly, is more in-person conferences. How many of them are each of you attending per year? I see Kate's brain going. Go ahead, Richard.
Yeah, from our perspective, as someone who we don't work with end customers, but we work with partners, right? MSPs, ISVs, SIs, VARs. We didn't do any conferences for a good 4 years. And I think it
How
was
did that affect
about
your business?
it stunted our growth, to be honest, right? And I think that you can only do so much behind the screen. And then when we finally made a concerted effort in 2026 to do end of 2025, 2026 to do conferences, it has been insane from our perspective. I do feel like events are really on the way up in terms of the number of events, which is great. I think a lot more people are willing to go out there. I think, like you said, the reasons you mentioned, I mean, you're there to create a authentic relationship and find someone or something that you really connect with. I think which is powerful. So it's been great. Conferences, like a marketing budget, you have to put money into. 20%, 30% of your revenue, and it has to be ongoing. You can't just go to 5 events and then you're done for like 2 years. You have to just be at it. Let's go. You guys should all go to Partner Invite every year. That's my advice to everybody, right? Just consistent like that. Maybe Ignite. I don't know. What is it, like $3,000 for a ticket? I don't know what it is, but whatever it is, be consistent and because that's where it's ongoing, and if you stop it, then you might see stuff dry up. So really, really important. So thanks.
Thanks, Richard. Anybody else want to answer? Kate's still adding up in her head, I think.
I mean, mine is probably 15 to 20 a year across all of our different verticals. My boss said on a call that we go to about 2 a month, and he's not wrong. When he said that number, I was like, what? And I looked back at the calendar, and that's actually about right. And
Where
that's
you've been.
that's the major conferences, the smaller meetups, even some of the road shows. It's all of those events to have real interactions with people, real conversations with people. And then, I mean, I'll go a step further, and I was actually talking to Brad about this a couple of days ago. Those in-person meetings, even at some of the smaller conferences, I've found to be even more beneficial than those big conferences when we're running in the halls and we're trying to get to the next session or we're leading a session. So, if you are new, David, I think you said you were new, trying to break in and meet more people. Don't discount those smaller meetups as well, because it's very intimate. I meet people faster at the smaller event. I mean, Richard and I had dinner with Shannon at an event a couple of months ago, and it was those smaller ones. You really meet people and get time with people. Not discrediting the big ones. The big ones are fun, and you meet tons of people there too. But the small ones also are a great place to plug in and to help and to serve.
Mhm.
Love it.
Name is Shannon, and I'm a conference holic. I've been addicted for about 10 years. It's pretty bad. I was trying to think of how many conferences I do a year, but it's a lot. I recently just got back from a conference circuit. I first did Asia, and then Europe. So it's a lot of conferences. I'm going to agree with Kate that I think the smaller the event, the more intimate of conversations we get.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to discredit Summit NA, because that's actually our
Yeah.
biggest lead generator with end
Yeah.
users.
Sure.
It's a great conference, but it is insanely big, right?
Busy.
If you're looking for intimacy, that is not the place to go. In fact, I've had a lot of end users. I've asked them, what do you think about the conference? Oh, the content's great, but this is just too big. Like, it's overwhelming. I don't know what to do. I don't know where to start. So I think starting off with some of the smaller ones, and picking which ones that you invest in is important. But also, you don't have to be a sponsor to go enjoy networking and building partnerships, right? So,
Yes.
or even a speaker, but I do recommend for brand awareness, and Kate is kind of on that same journey. The more you can speak, it also opens doors for conversations with other people, because people actually get to hear your thought process and your thoughts on topics, and that can actually open the door for many more relationships. So I think some of the speeches that I do or presentations I do throughout the year open up conversations with people that I would never have a door to. So that's something to keep in mind as well.
Love that. Thank you, Shannon.
We're in the healthcare space, and what we found is some of the conferences like the DIA, which is the national conference, and some of the larger conferences, it's people saying the same things over and over again. And it's the same story that they're saying. And what we found is, I think what you guys have pointed to, is the regional smaller conferences that are focused are the ones that we're spending our time attending, rather than the large, national conferences, because again, it's just the same people talking about the same thing and the same issues, and never how to fix it. So we're spending time on regional conferences as well.
That makes total sense. Especially, I feel like there's that's amplified in the healthcare space, David. I mean, that beating that drum of, it's an issue. We hope it gets fixed. Maybe in 15 years. Let's talk about it next year. Maybe it'll be 14. Different kind of landscape and different kind of timeline for sure. Great insight. Okay, well, we will keep moving because we are well over our time. Let's go ahead if you want to touch on this one quick.
Yeah, we can kind of go through these pretty quickly here, because I don't think there's anything earth-shattering. But again, 3 core channels that are helping partners grow. Richard, I'm so glad that you figured out in-person conferences are helping the growth. I'm sad to hear that you were stunted for a little bit, but getting involved in communities and organizations like IAMCP, all very important. But we still can't forget about the paid marketing and the things that are online too, because there's definitely some important and making sure that you have that visibility in those spaces as well.
Love it. Well, I just want to throw a shout out to Richard because I do think that was a very honest answer, Richard. And I think a lot of partners who are especially starting out cannot frankly afford to go to a lot of events. And if they do go to any, they have to be so picky and choosy. And it's really hard to put the money in. But fast forward, and I appreciate your honesty. When they don't do it, they are exactly where you just described. We didn't go, but since we've started going, our business is booming. So that's a lesson for all of us to hear, even Liz and I, like that's a great thing for us to hear too, and just kind of reiterates our feelings on it as well. So just want to go back and call that out. I think that was a very honest and great way to share your experience.
Thank you.
Before we go today, and again, thank you everyone for sticking with us on your Friday afternoon. It is our little plug for our partner event, Partner Vibe. These gracious people on this call have all mentioned it. It is small, it is intimate. We do things differently. It is a lot less people speaking at you, and it's a more people talking with you. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. My doggies are here. Liz, I'm going to have you just kind of describe what's the differentiator with Vibe real quick.
Yep, absolutely. We did mention at the beginning of the call, but just to reiterate, so this is for any Microsoft partner, no matter what technology or technologies you focus on or what kind of partner you are. The point and the hope here is we're bringing all of these different types of partners together, different viewpoints, and offering more roundtable discussions, more panel discussions. So you're not going to learn a ton of product info here. We do have some deep dive workshops that are 90 minutes that you'll actually get some results from. You'll get some hands-on learning. But a lot of it is business owners talking to business owners in terms of the types of roles that we did see at Vibe. We did see a lot of executives, there's sales, there's marketing, there's technical folks, there's PMs, consultants. It's everybody from the partner organizations. And I think that's such an important thing to continue to focus on, is that all of these different job roles and types of people that come from companies have a different perspective. So they're able to bring such different perspectives into the room and the discussions that are having that you maybe wouldn't get anywhere else. So we would love for all of you to join us, and we are very happy to offer a complimentary pass to all of our lovely IAMCP members. So please join us in September. We are doing something new this year as well called She's a Vibe. This is I know Kate's helping us with that based off of, this event is being hosted in partnership with the WIP Network as well. This is a half-day event that happens in the morning on the 21st of September, and then in the afternoon of the 21st, we kick off Vibe 2.0 proper, and we'll be wrapping up about midday on the 23rd. So we'd love to have you. We're going to the Salt Lake City area in Utah. I think Brad was saying he's never been to Utah. We keep hearing a lot of people have not. Molly and I both have done site visits to the venue we're going to be at, which is the Provo Marriott. It is a gorgeous place. Like the views in Utah, I had no idea either. That was my first time as well. Highly recommend. So we hope to all see you at Vibe. And Molly, I don't know if your pooch is done barking now, but did I miss anything?
Just a quick shout out to Shannon as well. She'll be speaking at She's a Vibe, and both Kate and Shannon will both be speaking at Vibe 2.0. We hope to see you guys all there. And thank you so much for spending your Friday with us and having conversation and letting us talk longer than we anticipated. So great to see you guys. Thank you so much.
Good. Thanks for the call. It was interesting, and I'll look forward to the future.
Hey,
David,
Shannon, anything as we wrap?
Oh, I just wanted to say this was a fantastic conversation. Love it. Absolutely love it. And hope to see all of you at Vibe. She's a Vibe and Vibe. So yeah.
Okay.
Thanks,
David,
Thanks,
I just put my email address in the chat. If you would like to chat about events or any needs or anything that I can do to help you, please reach out. I would love to help however I can. I try to do as much as I can in the community. If you ask me my involvement of the community, the Microsoft Dynamics community is literally my life. It is what I do 24/7. So if there's any way I can help you, please let me know. I'd be happy to.
You'll be hearing from me. Thanks. I
Wonderful.
appreciate it.
Wonderful.
Everybody have a good weekend.
Thank you, David. We
Thank
hope to see you
you.
soon. Richard,
You all
thank you
as
for
well.
joining.
Thank you
I'll
for
see you
having
soon.
us.
Thank you guys. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Ciao, ciao.
Shannon, are you able to, don't have any permissions. Oh, she's gone. Okay.